called Frosty Dinghy, and I'm the dolphin, and you're the flounder.
Well, I guess. I think it should be Dr. Parker, but
It's called Frosty Dinghy, and I'm the dolphin, and you're the flounder.
Welcome to the Frosty Dinghy. The Dursky filling
happy to
in
be
for the
here.
Flounder,
yeah.
which is probably a better ordeal since Flounder's out camping.
Yeah. I
So-
mean, he's enjoying his time. He just doesn't
Yeah,
have
no.
Wi-Fi.
he has just enough Wi-Fi to make it difficult to. I can either hear him or I can see him. I
But
can't
not
do
both.
both at the same time. Which
It's
you
funny.
know, I could hit him up and you can be the face on the screen and you just don't
Right.
talk and I'll let him talk the whole time.
Just smile and nod.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
a good time as well. But I do not have any updates on the boats because, well, it's a holiday and everybody's out
Yeah.
running around on the holiday, which brings me to your favorite holiday camping trips. Do you have any camping trips that just kind of stand out in your mind or anything that's fun and exciting that you used to do on the Memorial weekend?
For Memorial specifically, so my parents always go camping the big 3 weekends, Memorial, 4th of July, and Labor Day. And they have a hotel on wheels. It's got 4 queen-size beds, 2 bathrooms, and a couch that you could sleep on. So they're set up for success when they go camping. And we used to do Red Rock quite a bit. Lake Red Rock, grew up around there. Like, we grew up in Knoxville. Our address was Knoxville, even though we didn't live in town. But so we grew up boating and camping every weekend or every holiday weekend, however it landed, just whenever the weather was nice. But that was about the time that I started to learn how to play guitar, and they have a very strict noise ordinance there. So we about got kicked out several times. My dad almost got tased once, and it's like all this for playing music around the fire.
Wait, hold on. How did he almost get tased because you were playing a guitar?
So long story short, the campsite was registered in my stepmom's name, but everything that's there is in my dad's name, like the camper and the vehicles and all that's in my dad's name. So the Rangers pulled her out to the road to have a conversation with her at night. So, once you're away from the fire, you can't see it, and they don't have a bunch of street lights out there. So they pulled her out to the road to talk to her, and my dad went walking out there to see what's up, and they drew their taser on him, and they were like, one more step. And he's like, this is my campsite. And they're like, your name's not on it. So we're going to talk to her. So yeah, he almost got tased for us just playing acoustic guitars around the fire. So once that happened, he vowed never again. And so we've gone to Rathbun every year since then. That was probably at least 15 years ago, if not 20 by now, 2005-ish, maybe 2008. That happened. So we haven't been back to Red Rock ever since. And Rathbun's a little more laid back with noise ordinance stuff. But at the same time, we're also getting older, so we don't stay up as late or get as loud or even bring guitars half the time anymore. So it's all kind of worked out.
Well, I wouldn't quite say you're getting older. They might be getting older at this point, but
They're dragging me
still-
right along with them.
you're still in your 20s, sir.
Yeah, I wish.
But no, I mean, that is surprising that somebody that you know has gone farther with police officers and camping than I have, because I've never been about tased.
That's funny.
Not even close, which is surprising. I
Yeah.
might run too quick. I don't know.
Well,
Or used
and
to run faster.
And there wasn't even an altercation that led up to it. It's like he was just quick on the draw. Like, I think he was just nervous because they were out there in the dark and they didn't know they could hear his footsteps coming up, but they couldn't see him. And so I think they were just a little nervous, which I get. I'm sure that job's not easy, but at the same time, like, what's with the noise ordinances? And what pisses me off even more is it normally takes another campsite to turn you in about it. Like, so somebody didn't like the music enough that they called, and it's like, come on, we're just playing acoustic guitars out here and singing a couple tunes. It's not like we're blaring Metallica or some death metal shit.
You know, I would have to say probably 10 years ago, I would have came and said something because I hated live music that much. Just saying. I wouldn't have called the cops on you.
Maybe it was you. Well, I mean, it wasn't even the cops specifically. It was just the rangers in the park. But Still, come on, we're all out here to have a good time. But during the
No,
day, you can have your stereos as loud as you want.
yeah, until the sun
You
goes down, and then
just can't make a sound after like 8 or 9 p.m. I'm like, this is stupid. That's when I get the drunkest and have the courage to play those new songs.
I used to like every summer all the time go to Diamond Lake in Montezuma, and
Oh yeah.
we lived at the lake like nonstop through the summer. We
Hmm.
It was close enough to where Dad worked because he worked in town, and Mom didn't work, and I was just ran around the lake 7 days a week for the
Yeah,
entire summer. And I
that'd
think
be
once a
awesome.
week they made you move the camper, so we'd
Yep.
move it like 3 feet,
Yeah.
and we'd put a
Yeah.
little
Oh,
flag where it was previously.
yep. A lot of those places have those laws to where it can't sit for more than 7 or 14 consecutive days. I don't understand it, but
Well, it's to promote so they can get in there and you don't kill off the grass and they
right.
can mow there. They don't want dead spots and have to reseed it and all that stuff. So I
Well,
understand why you got to move your camper, but
I get it from that aspect, but they do that in campgrounds that have pads, that have gravel pads. Like you can't stay on the same pad for more than 2 weeks. So if you camp out there all summer, you can get in the old good boys club and like just swap with somebody every 2 weeks so that you don't lose a decent spot. Otherwise, you got to pull all the way out and then just
it could
redo your
have something to do
reservation.
with the it'd be a different they'd have to put it into a different class because they'd have residents.
Yeah, probably.
Like if you
And
go to an RV park, you can have the extended stay and you can stay on the same pad for as long as you want, as long as you keep paying. But they have
right.
a different license where, like a state park couldn't get the same license. Maybe
I'm sure
I
it's a
think
different
that could be
insurance
some
too.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you
Yeah. I
just have
would,
make them move one spot, they're starting a new stay
that makes sense.
because they got to file new paperwork and all that stuff.
Still
So I
silly,
think that
but it
could be
makes
some of
sense.
it.
That might be.
But I remember it was like 7 or 8 years ago. I went down, and you're gonna get a kick out of this one. But I went back to Monty to hang out and go to Diamond Lake again for the
Mhm.
weekend, and one of my friends came out to meet me, and we proceeded to buy a couple bottles of Prairie Fire
Nice.
and proceeded to try drinking both of them.
Oh, that's a bad idea.
I'm not gonna to go into a lot of the stuff that happened not to me because a lot of the stuff that happened not to me I'll have to tell you off of camera because it's yeah not good at all.
Right.
But
Yeah, I'm sure.
me, I finished putting one of those little tabletop grills together at like 3 o'clock in the morning,
Hmm.
and we ended up cooking some food. And I don't remember anything else, but I woke up like an hour later, sleeping on the park bench with a light rain. I mean, not the picnic table, with a light rain going on, and I was freezing cold. So I went and got my truck that has no muffler, started it, cranked the
Oh
heater, and went
God.
back to sleep. And apparently, the people in the neighboring campsites were screaming all night, "Turn off that fucking boat motor!"
Oh, I bet.
when
Yeah.
it's a no motor lake.
Right.
But they thought I was out there running a boat motor around the lake, so I was getting screamed at. I don't
That's
know because I
funny.
was sleeping, but
Right.
the neighbors came over the next day and told me that if I run my boat motor all night again, that they're gonna call the cops on me. I'm like, dude, it's my truck. But yeah,
Oh shit.
he had ended up having to go to work at like 7 in the morning, but he couldn't make it because he needed to go home and shower and take the kid home. And then when he did get to work, he was a meat cutter in the meat department. So
Mm.
he had to deal with a whole bottle of Prairie Fire and cutting meat, which wasn't
Oh,
going well. Yeah,
yeah.
he had a rough day.
It'd be a little rough.
Yeah. So another one of the things that we used to do when I was a kid, because well, we are not that well off, but we did have fun and a lot of that stuff. We had a canoe, and we
Mm.
used to go throw
Canoes
it
are
in
fun.
the North Skunk River, and
Hmm.
we'd go like 5 or 6 bridges, which that's like a bridge is Like you start on a highway bridge and then you go under a gravel bridge, under a gravel road bridge, and then you get out at the last one. Well, occasionally we would start above a rock quarry, like 2 bridges above a rock quarry, and then we would camp right behind the bank of the rock quarry that's right over there that you can see down like 30 feet because the water's crystal clear, but it goes down to 97. And we'd go up and over the hill and fish, which on property we weren't supposed to be on. But the whole reason that we do it was mushroom hunting. That was the best place to go mushroom hunting, but nobody was allowed in there ever since the accident that they had with kids swimming in the quarry. So we would sneak in there, raid the place of mushrooms and fish, and then go back and camp on the river for a day, and then finish our journey down the rest of it. So that was
a pretty good time.
That was like one of our big deals every year. We just set up those little trips.
One of them that we used to go down the Des Moines River, down past the dam from Lake Red Rock. So we would start about where Highway 92 crosses the river between Knoxville and Oskaloosa. And then down at the end of it, I don't remember what it is. It's 7 or 8 miles river-wise. There's a campground right there, Evelyn Access. And there's a boat ramp right there that's easy to walk up, depending on how many beers you've had. So the last time that we did that, I remember drinking my all-time record of beers because I brought a 24-pack with me. I drank all of my beers and then had 2 out of my brother's cooler. And I don't remember coming off the river. Like that's kind of scary. I remember being back at the campground and helping cook, but I don't remember coming off the river. So, but that's a fun one. Depending on the river height, it could be as fast or as slow as you wanted it to be. And we normally wait for it to be fairly low so that you could stop on sandbars and hang out and have a couple extra beers there. And we always do it the right way, packing pre-made sandwiches and chips and stuff like that so that you're not just drinking for 8 hours on the river. And it's similar to how we do it at Rock and Row. We make sure that we take food with us. You know, you got to have the essentials. You got to have your beer on ice. You got to have a couple of sandwiches that you can eat, probably 1 peanut butter and 1 meat, as well as Bluetooth speakers to enjoy the tunes while you're floating down the river. Like those are kind of the necessities.
Well, I don't hardly remember coming off the river last time I was at Rock and Row either. So just saying. The guys were
off the river.
The guys were pretty happy that I come equipped with 4-wheel drive and they didn't have to drag me once they got me tilted in the right direction.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it was a rough coming out of that one. There used to be places like if you go down towards Sully and Linville on the North Skunk, they have that dam right there. Well, we like going past the dam and going farther. So there was somebody hung a rope from a tree about 100 feet from the dam.
Nice.
And it stayed there every year because of all the people that came down. And you had to make sure that you grabbed that rope to pull yourself to the side of the bank so you can get out. That was the only way because of how steep it was.
Oh, shit.
To get to the edge and get drug out. Otherwise, you'd be paddling against the current trying to catch that little rope that's dangling over the water. Otherwise, you go over the dam, that little dam right there.
Yeah,
or you slam into it and get turned sideways, and then you roll over it, and then you get stuck in the churn. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need to tube with potential catastrophes included. Like, that's not... I want to relax while I'm tubing. I don't need some sort of Ninja Warrior event at the end.
Yeah, we had the aircraft carrier though, the canoe. We didn't ever tube. We never tubed the river on that section anyway. Yeah. We did that on hell, I didn't even know you could go tubing down rivers. Well, I know you could do it, but as a group, and that was a thing to do. I didn't know people that did that until I was in my late 20s.
Oh, really? No, we grew up doing that. Not necessarily every year. It was more like every other year. that weekend would land just right, and you'd be around the right group of people that's like, hey, let's just grab the tubes. As long as you always have to have one person that's willing to drop off everybody that wants to tube and then drive back down to the campground to have the vehicle back there, or you got to drive back up to pick a vehicle up the next day, but then you're just leaving it on the side of the road. So I don't know if you want to trust that or not.
Well, we had the sober attendants to get at least one vehicle home, and then we'd have somebody else drag the other one home for us later that night.
Right.
It used to be where one of the people that didn't want to go was still willing to drop us off, and then we put the pickup vehicle by ourselves down there.
Yep. We normally have somebody that doesn't want to float but wants to camp. Just drive us all up there, drop us off. And most of the time we would use like the 12-volt plug-ins that you can do right into your cigarette lighter in the car to pump up all of the tubes. So we didn't have to take them inflated where they're going to take up all of the room. You take them all crunched down in a duffel bag, and then you air them up right there on the side of the river. It made things a hell of a lot easier.
You were spoiled.
Oh, yeah.
I had lung capacity for a reason.
When I was a kid, when I was a kid, I had to do them by hand. Or at least a bicycle pump.
See, there you are, spoiled again. we had our parents behind us. We didn't blow them up fast enough. We'd get smacked around a bit, you know.
That's funny.
As long as we got theirs done first, they didn't care if ours had air in it.
Right, and they just take off down the river.
Yeah, they're gone.
Man, you'll catch up. We'll stop.
I was Gen X. They didn't care. As long as I had a key to the house to get in whenever I got home, they were fine.
The old latchkey kid. Yep.
Yeah. Even if we went to the river, they'd be fine. They'd go off on their own, and the kids will get here eventually.
Yeah. But being older now, I prefer things like rock and roll because it takes all the worry out of it. You walk up when it's your time to get on the bus. They drive you up river 6 or 8 miles. They got the tubes and the trash cans and everything, you know, a tube around your cooler for you. Like everything's set up to where you don't have to worry about anything. The only thing you got to worry about is if you drop your sunglasses.
And they count you as you come out as well, so they know they aren't missing one.
Yep, that's smart. But that's got to be part of their insurance to be able to do that. Like they can't have missing persons. That's not good for business.
It gets a little bit dark, and they send the airboat.
Oh man. Not the last couple times we went. It was too shallow for any of that stuff.
I'm surprised people didn't get wholeheartedly exhausted trying to walk down there because nobody's in shape for that. No. You look at the people that are partying, and trust me, I look like I'm out of shape. I horribly look like I'm out of shape, but I walk 10 miles a day at work. Yeah. So trudging down a river was nothing for me, really. But you look at some of those people that look like they're in shape that are getting drug in an inner tube over rocks because they can't walk anymore. That was fun. That was a good time.
I'm just excited. This year, Jaden's 21, the stepson. So he can have the cooler attached to him. So if it gets shallow, he can drag it through the rocks instead of me. Somehow I always get dubbed the cooler guy, which I like having the cooler right next to me. Then you don't have to worry about where you're at. Everybody else has to worry about where you're at. So if you have that cooler right there, it's perfect because you can always grab a beer. But you're also the one that's dubbed dragging it through the rocks. Be like, here, strong guy, athletic guy, whatever. It's your turn to drag these. And it's like, oh, fuck this. This sucks.
My rock and roll picture of me, how I learned how to sit up in the tube where it stands straight up and down. And then I had the cooler sitting in front of me as like an elbow table. That's in one of Frosty Dingy's designs. They just put snow and stuff around the tube, on the tube that's holding the cooler and stuff like that. Yeah. And then put a cowboy hat on me. And so I'm getting pulled behind a boat on the inner tube holding my cooler like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. The character we used the caricature lady from Adventureland to do.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, she did all of my trademark stuff. So
nice,
like the
way
Frosty
to support
Dingy
local
thing.
businesses.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It wasn't as bad as I thought. I got 4 different digital designs for around like $300.
That ain't bad.
No, that ain't bad at all. When it had 3 people in it, pretty much, of 4 if you count the little snowball guy.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's cheaper than having somebody design book covers or something like that for you. So that's a pretty good deal.
yeah, I don't even want to try to get into that kind of trade craft that you got over your shoulder right there.
It's expensive, but that's why I do it myself. Like I can take pictures of myself as the main character, modify it, and then just go from there.
We lost your video feed there, Chief.
Well, I got a notification something about hand gestures. What are you talking about?
Who gave you hand gestures? Did you throw off the which signal are you throwing there?
Hey, well, I was trying to just point my thumb at the thing, and it's like your hand gestures are doing something to the video, and I'm like, is it?
Well, quit doing the hand jive over there, man. Shit.
Well, I know on like FaceTime you can do hand gestures and it'll do stuff to the screen. I didn't know if this app was trying to do the same thing or not.
I've never thrown out that hand gesture there, Elon. My bad.
Oh, it's not that one.
Oh, attaboy. So, speaking of rivers, have you ever heard of the one up in, I think it's in Wisconsin?
Apple River.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever been up
I've
there?
never been.
So
Never been there, but I want to.
I went as a kid, and I still claim that that's the reason I have no hair. I mean, I was a little kid to the point where I don't hardly remember much of what went on up there. But my cousin I know can throw a rock from one side of it and pick the spot on the picnic table on the other side where he's going to hit it at the time. My mom made all the kids mad because she went and took over all the high scores on Ladybug, which is an stand-up arcade game that was really popular back then. Made a kid so mad because she set the high score so high that he couldn't beat him. So, like me, he just unplugged the machine, plugged it back in, and redid it, and Mom lost her shit. But
oh man,
it was the same principle as rock and roll, where they bust you up and drop you off, and then you go down. But halfway down, there's like a waterfall feature. It's at the time, I remember it only being maybe 3 foot high. It's not enough to, really do much if you get trapped in it. I mean, you could still die if you're little enough and have trouble getting out, but
right.
It's one that you can go over in tubes. Well, I was a little kid in a normal sized person's tube because that's all they had at the time, because it was early 80s when I was up there. But apparently we were coming down and my parents lost track of me for a little bit when we got close to there. And I ended up going over the rapids. Well, by then Mom had slowly caught up to me, right? So she was close enough that after I hit the rapids, I dropped straight through the middle of my tube to the point where I couldn't see anything. Shit. I was down underwater. And then all of a sudden I saw a hand, nothing but a hand, come down, grab a hold of my head. And the next thing I know, I'm sitting on top of my mother's inner tube. She had grabbed me by my hair and drugged me through the middle of my inner tube and up on top of her as I'm spitting water.
Small price to pay for life.
And now I can't grow any hair on the top of my head. So I think I think she ripped it all out, dragging me out of there.
Sounds like it.
But from what I remember, it was a blast. It was a great time.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it was.
They got it all. I think if I remember right, there's actually like a concrete walkway that they got down into the water, and then they just launch you as a herd, and then you get out at your campsite.
I heard that it was either closed last year or this coming year because they're doing a ton of renovations on the river, and it's some of the man-made things like that, like the launch point and the exit point and some of that stuff along the way. They needed to tear some of that out and redo it. So the company or the group or whoever that does or runs Apple River was actually closed down for a year, or it's this year that they're closed down. I don't remember the dates, but yeah, it'd be nice to go once they're done with that stuff and they pump some money into it, get it upgraded. Yeah. I'd take a trip up there. I had buddies from high school that went, every year, and they said it was a shit ton of fun. So,
Yeah, I definitely think that's a trip we need to figure out how to put together one of these years. I'd have to come back from Texas for it, but
it'd be all right.
I'm down with it.
Yeah, we can
We
make that
definitely
work.
need to get a camper because
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to go up and I think I might be out of the realm of tent camping at this point. Not that I really want to that I own anything that can drag a camper,
Right.
but well, I do if I go get my pickup back, but that's $4,000 in gas to go 2 cities.
Yeah, no shit.
It just eats it. But the
Mhm.
Jeep can only pull those little A-frame campers and anything up to like 3,000
Oh,
pounds. So
the little pop-up ones or whatever.
yeah, and those are basically like a tent. Too much. I don't want to set
Yeah.
anything up
Right.
at all.
Yeah, raising the ceiling and folding out the cloth edges and all of
Yeah.
that. Like, yeah, that's still a tent.
And then they got the hard wall ones that it looks like the pop-up camper, but
Mhm.
it goes into a teepee of hard walls.
Oh,
Yeah,
yep.
they got that one. And then you can get I wouldn't mind having one of those little off-road, nothing but a bed inside of them, guys.
Yeah, those are cool.
And then the showers outside and all that stuff.
Right. Yep.
It's a
And
strip
I
club,
think
baby. I'm
the
here to
kitchen's
work.
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little flap that you can open. It's got like a little stove and stuff on it, propane style.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
But how much do you think those guys cost?
Oh, they're stupid expensive for what they are. Like,
Yeah, they're like 15 to 20,000, depending on which
Yeah.
one you get.
and they shouldn't be.
No, they should be like 5.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if I could get the materials, I could build it for 3.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, I poke around on Marketplace all the time looking for campers and four-wheelers and canoes and kayaks and all this summer fun stuff, just in case there's a deal that I can't pass up on.
You want a
But
canoe? I'll sell you my canoe. I still
no,
have it.
I'd rather have kayaks than a canoe.
See, that's what everybody says, but you've never put the cooler outriggers on the Air Force carrier before, have you?
No.
So you take a canoe, right? And then you run in the middle, you run PVC pipes right and
Mhm.
left, and then make cooler holders so that actually sit down in the water.
Mhm.
So then you don't ever have to get out to get a beer,
Right.
but you can carry so much storage in the canoe.
Right.
And then you have your cooler setting off the side that you don't have to worry about floating down.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just walk up to the canoe and get a beer. And
they act as stabilizers. The
Yep.
water gets rough.
that's great for when you're going like long river camps because you can
Right.
pack all your camping supplies in the pack mule in the middle
That'd be pretty cool.
and then just float with tubes beside it.
Right.
That's how we used to do it in the long ago, back when we started tubing. So
It's a good way to do it.
yeah. And I used to be able to go clear across a lake in the canoe and like nothing flat, and the front end of the boat's like 3 inches off the water, and you're just scooting with a little paddle back in the day. It was
Right.
a good time.
Sounds like
I
it.
still haven't got that canoe sold from 20 years. So it's too long for everybody. It's one of the super long ones.
Like a 15-footer or what?
Bigger, 22.
22-foot canoe?
I think so. I'd have to
You'd
look
have
at the
to trailer
registration.
that thing.
No, you can still put it on top of I put it on top of that little gray pickup that I had. The only part that was on anything was the top of the cab of the truck. You just got to tighten it down on the front and the back just right so it doesn't tilt.
It's funny.
But yeah, we drug that thing everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's fun to have those summer fun hobbies like that.
Yeah, I need to get back into the summer fun hobbies, but I got to lose a couple inner tubes before I can go back out and ride the inner tubes on a religious basis.
That's funny.
So we were partying in Oskaloosa one night at the bar, back when I used to work there, and we got tired of going out to this friend's pond and partying out there after work, and they wanted something different. So I'm like, oh, we can go back down to the river that I grew up on it's only like 15 minutes away because
Hmm.
it from Oski to New Sharon, and then a little past New Sharon is the bridge.
Right.
Well, it was raining that night, and the whole reason I picked it is so we could, hang out in the water and party on a sandbar underneath the highway bridge right there. Well, the wood that we were using was wet. And of course, we're going to have a huge bonfire underneath the bridge.
Yeah, it doesn't work very well.
And no, it worked. It worked great. We had a blast down there. People swimming in the river, and two of us keeping an eye on whenever anybody went in the water and make sure we didn't lose somebody. But
Hmm. Good call.
we walked up the hill and where we could see the bridge, and you could not see across the bridge at all because it was nothing but smoke.
Oh man.
So when people would go on the bridge, and you could hear them, they'd go on the bridge and you just hear brakes lock up because they couldn't see anything when they were going through in the middle of the night. And nobody really knew it was smoke. They thought it was fog, I think, because
Fog,
we never got the cops called on us or anything. And we were out there partying all night long underneath of a bridge when it was raining. It was a good time.
It'd be a good time. Yeah.
But those are the days when, like the early 2000s, when you could get away with doing stuff like that, and not have to worry about ending up in jail every 5 minutes. So
Yeah, that shit.
those were always good times.
I know.
What kind of lake camping have you done? Any good places out of state or anything like that?
Um, yeah, we went to South Dakota a couple years ago. My parents were going out there. They invited us since they have that hotel on wheels. But we went out there, and I don't remember the name of the campground offhand. And the campground itself didn't have a lake view. You had to jump in a vehicle and drive a little bit to do it. But we took the dogs and the kids with us. Like we had a whole family slogging along there. We went out to that lake each day, took the dogs out there, super nice sandy beaches. It was pretty calm depending on which way the wind was blowing, and um, surprisingly had pretty clean water, not dirty like Red Rock and Raft Bend like what I'm used to, but those are river fed, so of
Yeah.
course they're going to
Yep.
be a little murky. But no, that one in South Dakota was super nice. Took the dogs out there. The dogs are wanting to run the beach and jump out there and go swimming and stuff. And we had a little bit of a squall come in on us while we were there. And everybody's trying to run and hide and all this stuff. And I'm like, you could see the cloud in the sky. It wasn't very big, but you could see it hitting the water and coming right at us. And there's no way that you could avoid it. And I'm like, I'm already at the lake for this reason. Like, I'm not going to try to hide from it. I just made sure that I covered up my phone with something so that it didn't get ruined. But yeah, that was a pretty good trip in South Dakota. Because while we were out there, of course, we did Needles Highway and we did Mount Rushmore and, go look at some of the sites and stuff like that while we were out there. So that was a pretty good trip. It was still about a 9 or 10 hour drive from central Iowa. So it's not like it was a fun one because it was close. It was still a pretty good haul. I mean, you could get to the north end of Texas in 10 and a half hours from here. So it was still a pretty good drive, but we had a blast while we were out there.
Yeah, it's exactly 10 hours from my doorstep to my boat right now.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's in Sherman, Texas, which is an hour north of Houston. So,
Right. Yeah.
but you can also run into Lake Texoma right there too, which is a great lake
Oh, yeah.
to go party on as well. But
Well, and I lived in Texas for a couple of years, and we would go to Louisville Lake, and it always threw me off because it's not pronounced Louisville, even though it's spelled the same way. It's Louisville. You pronounce the S in that one. And that was only about a half-hour drive from where we lived because we lived in the Plano, Frisco,
yeah.
Allen area, and we lived in a couple different apartments while we were there until we finally found what we liked. But one of her cousins lived in Louisville, and we'd go out there. We had a favorite bar that was right there on the water that had sand volleyball and a bunch of stuff, and you could rent kayaks and just make a day of it. Like it was a really good time.
Yeah, you weren't if you were in Frisco, you weren't very far away from Sherman either. Like 45 minutes, because I keep
Yeah.
trying to get tickets to the Rough Riders, the Frisco Rough Riders down there. So I
Oh
heard
yeah.
they have a lazy river around their baseball diamond or something like that.
Do they? I haven't
I
seen that. That'd
think
be
so.
cool.
How have you not seen that if you were down there?
Uh-uh.
Oh, huh.
No. I mean, I was only down there for a couple of years, and that would have been like 2010 to 2012. So even then, it's been almost 15 years.
I was already working at where I met you at that time.
Ugh,
Yeah,
gross.
I think 2012 is when they sent me to Turkey.
Ugh.
Yeah, it was a long time. But so I have to ask, is Mount Rushmore actually worth going and looking at?
No. It's one of those things that you walk up to it and you're all excited to get there. Like it's a historical monument. Like you're kind of pumped to get there. You get there and you look at it and you're like, well, there it is. Get ready to go.
Now there's
You don't.
$9,000 between you and the gift shop.
Well, oh, the gift shops are stupid expensive. Like
Oh
even
yeah,
a bottle opener, something, coasters or koozies, like they're $10 a piece. Like just an insane markup. And
oh
so
yeah.
we got something to drink while we were there, and that was enough. Like we had hit our budget for the day, just grabbing drinks. But it's one of those things. It's like, well, we saw it.
You
Now what
want
do
to
we
see it
do?
in person, but it's kind of easier to look at it on the internet.
It's a lot easier on the internet. It's super underwhelming. Like, and it's packed full of people, and everybody wants to be as close to that railing as they can get, which really doesn't matter. If you're 20 feet closer to the mountain that's a mile away, like, is that 20 feet going to matter? No, it doesn't.
Not at all.
No,
It's like the Black Hills. I mean, I don't want to go see
yeah,
Devil's Tower either.
no. I
Uh,
mean, I feel like that's the exact same thing. It's like, well, there it is. Cool.
I mean, you can go hiking and a bunch of stuff around both of them, but
Now,
that's not what
hiking would be fun, but
But I
just
don't want to go
going
walk
and,
up and down hills if I can't shoot deer.
well, that's
If I'm
fair.
going to go hiking, there's going to be a like protein at the end of it that I can do something with.
Right? I get that.
Of course, most of the deer that I end up with are the ones I have to swim after. So for some weird reason, they go in the water like they don't think a dolphin can chase them there.
I'm
I
not
don't
sure
get it.
they know you're a dolphin.
Probably not at the time, but they find out that I have a tail.
That's funny.
So, what else did you say you did up there besides Mount Rushmore? When
Needles
you went,
Highway.
what's that?
So it's just a windy, turny. Don't quote me on the distance. I think it's 15 or 20 miles long. And there are sections of it that are carved into the mountain. So you have to go through the
The
tunnels,
tunnel?
and you can only fit one vehicle in there. So you have to get to a point where you can see to the other side, and you have to take turns going through it one at a time. And we took the rental car through it. And of course, it's packed with cars and packed with motorcycles and stuff. And I was even telling it was Cody, she was my girlfriend at the time, but my wife now. I'm like, this would be easier on a motorcycle than it would be because we rented a minivan. Like it was us, her kids, and the dogs driving out there. So we rented a minivan to get that far. And the roads are super narrow and an extreme drop off on one end, depending on which way you're going and which way you're looking. And she was getting motion sick and height sick. Like she couldn't look, like everything that you're supposed to look at while you're on this road to
Was
enjoy the
making her
scenery.
sick.
She couldn't do it. It was making her sick. So I felt bad for her, but at the same time, like this is what we wanted to do. And once you're on the highway, you can't get off of it. You
Yeah,
have
there's
to follow it
no
all the way
exit
through.
ramp. Yeah.
No, there's nothing to do but finish it. And once you hit the halfway point, you can't even turn around to go back. Like you've already gone halfway. So it doesn't make any sense to do that either. But yeah, Needles Highway is pretty cool. It's super slow. You have to go slow. It takes a couple hours to get through it.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and mark that off a thanks for letting me know about it list. I'm not going, Google Maps. You can
Yeah,
get right
right.
down there and see it really well.
Click along. Yeah,
Yeah.
do the highway view and just click on it.
That's really how I wanted to go through Donner's Pass too. I didn't want to have to pull over at each exit and keep dumping water in the radiator of my dad's car either, so we could get through it without blowing
Heck
up.
with that.
Yeah.
I drove a semi through Donner Pass once, and it was under construction, so it was down to one lane, and that was the scariest time I've ever had in a vehicle, and it was even decent weather. But I was worried about not only it only being one lane and potentially hitting those K rails, but my brakes were starting to get spongy as well,
Oh yeah, that
going down that backside, and that's a
had put her in the
scary
sand.
feeling.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, but there's a row of cars in front of me that I'd have to get through if my brakes failed. So
Oh, they'd slow
no,
you
that was
down.
actually yeah. The bosses wouldn't like it very much.
No, probably not. No, that sounds like a horrible. I did it in a, what was it, a Lincoln Continental Town Car.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's like,
A
you
boat
know,
with wheels.
3/4 of a semi.
Yeah, yeah, it's big. Yeah.
Yeah. We also took that same car down, oh, what's the name of that road in San Francisco?
Oh,
The
that windy, the
Yeah,
super windy road. The
Lombard
windy
Street. Lombard
is that what
Street.
it is?
Yep. Yeah,
I've
we
driven
took
down
it
that one
down
too.
that too, and we went on top of curb, on top of curb, all the way down it. And
Yeah, that one's
my grandma's toes, according to my grandpa at the time, were about 3 inches up his keister from the back seat through the bottom of the seat
that's funny.
because she was
Yeah.
so scared going down that hill.
Yeah, I was out there for a work trip once, and we did that same road and took a ferry out to Alcatraz. Like that was a pretty good trip too. It wasn't a
Yep.
vacation. I was working, but we had
Yeah,
a day
no,
off
I
while we
get
were
that.
there.
I just needed a second for my mouth not to say what it was thinking, so I took a a bit of a quiet time. Sorry.
You can always edit that out later. Feel free to
Yeah,
say
yeah, but I'm gonna try to shoot this one so we don't have to edit it as much because we're already a day
it.
late.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah. So, what part of San Francisco was your favorite part?
So we didn't go into San Francisco a lot. So it was when I worked for Musco and I was doing sports lighting, and we did the lights for the Cal Berkeley football team every home game. And somehow I got dubbed like part of the California crew there. So there were two of us that spent 7 or 8 months a year in California, just traveling around doing California jobs, which I didn't mind coming from small town Iowa. Like that was a pretty fun experience for me.
Yeah.
And so we stayed on the Berkeley side. Like we had a hotel right there, maybe a mile or so from the stadium. But when once we would get set up and get the lights aimed, we'd have all that next day till we needed to turn the lights on that night to be able to go out and explore and do whatever we wanted to. So that's when we took the rental car across the Golden Gate Bridge to San Francisco and just started exploring there. So we hit some seafood restaurants. We did the turny, windy road. I know you said the name of it. I don't remember what it
Lombard
was,
Street. Yeah.
yeah. And so, I mean, just being there is kind of cool because I had never, like, I didn't realize San Francisco was basically a mountain island. Like, nobody ever told me that. And so, until you get out there and you're on it and you see it, especially going across the bridge towards it, you can see it from Oakland to San Francisco.
Yeah.
Like, it's a pretty cool sight. Like, even just the sightseeing. But my favorite thing about it was going to Alcatraz. That was a blast.
I didn't
Got-
make it out there.
I
Did
got
not
one of those
make it out
replica keys. I don't
Yeah.
know where it's at. It's in a box somewhere. They're like this long, but they're also about this wide. Like they're humongous jail cell keys. And I always vowed if I get rich enough someday, like I want all the locks on my house to fit this key. Like I want the locks to be made for the key, not the key made for the locks, just so I could carry that big ass key around.
I've said it earlier. You are weird, but
I don't know.
so how
It's
are you
okay.
going to get a replica key made for Cody? Are you going to have to go back to Alcatraz and get another key?
That'd be a good excuse to go for another visit.
And then say I wanted to get in your house, I just have to go to Alcatraz and get my own key.
Right.
Yeah.
They're in the gift shop.
Yeah. Or I can just order it online and have Amazon drop one off.
I'm sure Amazon probably has it.
See, again, I don't have to go out of my own state
That's funny.
to go on vacation. Google Maps and Amazon. That's what we're doing now.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
So I was just a kid when I was out there. So we went to all the shows and stuff that you can do in San Francisco, and we drove out and we had to drive back, but we came back in a different car.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that was interesting. But we got out there and we're going all over San Francisco on the cable cars. Like I said, we'd been on shows, been to shows the whole time. And
Right.
me as a kid, I thought the cable car was a show as well.
Mm.
So we stopped on a steep inclined hill because that's what's out there. And some lady pulled right up on the back end of a truck that was two inches away from me hanging on the side of the cable car, right? The truck driver looks at the guy driving the cable car and he's like, how close is she? And he's like, too close. He's like, I'm going to hit her. He goes, yep, tell her to back up. He tells her and the lady flips him off, the cable car driver off. And he goes, well, I guess we'll give her a go. And he revs up the engine, dumps the clutch, but it rocks back just enough to smash the front end of the car.
To hit her.
And I'm like a foot away from it. And I'm having a great time because the lady's screaming, this is a fucking rental car and you're going to pay for this. The guy in the truck goes, you parked too damn close. And the cable car guy's like, well, the light's green. We got to go. And my dad grabs me and he's like, why are you having, and I turned around while he's trying to talk to me. I'm like, to the cable car driver, I'm like, dude, is this part of the show? And that guy lost his shit. He started laughing so hard that he couldn't even get across the intersection with the car. Everybody on the cable car trying to get to work is just got looking at me like this little fucking kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a blast. That little lady screaming at the truck driver, and I'm just giggling. It was a good time. I did end up getting to wear my brand new cleats that I bought into the.
You got some cleats out there?
Yeah, into the ocean. So that I played a whole season with ocean cleats when I got back to Iowa. So that was a good time.
Hence the dolphin name. I get it.
Yeah, it could be. I got the dolphin name years after that.
It's still part of the legacy, though. You were always destined to be the dolphin.
Yeah, I need salt water somewhere. I keep a glass of it on my counter. I just walk by and dump a little more salt in a glass of water every time I go by. I don't drink it. I just occasionally stick a finger in it so I remember what it feels like,
Oh, shit, that's funny.
Oh, shit. So when you were down in Texas and going to Louisville, because they know how to pronounce all the letters in Texas, I'm not a fan of Louisville, but is that the only lake you went to down around there, or were you?
No,
did you go down to Lake Ray Hubbard, which is right around there?
No,
Texoma.
We took one separate trip to Possum Kingdom just because of the song. So I wanted to see it because I knew that the song from the Toadies was named after that lake, and I had to see it. So we were already headed south to Austin, and we made a little bit further trip to go see Possum Kingdom. And like we didn't have a ton of time while we were there. We only had about an hour. So we made the best of it while we could. And yeah, I mean, it's beautiful and clear water, like super, like that blue green water, not the murky shit that we're used to around here, and way cleaner than Louisville, but that one's also river fed. So that one's dammed up as well. So to see those natural lakes like that, like Mark Twain Lake in Missouri, like those things are unbelievably deep, clear, nice. And if you get a chance to swim in them, it's totally worth it.
That's the one that's got the Devil Arch, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Because I was looking at possibly putting Frosty Dinghy on that lake as well.
Oh, were you? Yeah.
Yeah. Just to go out to the Devil Arch part, because that's where the big party zone is out there. Right. I believe Red Bull did a diving competition off of the top of the arches.
Oh, did they?
I believe so.
Because I know at least one side of that lake is just all bluffs, and a lot of people like to jump off of them, kind of like they used to do in Red Rock, still do illegally because you're not supposed to do it anymore. But
the fine's up to what, $350 to jump off there now?
I don't know.
Because it used to be $100.
Been out there a long time. Yeah, I used to work for the for the county conservation board, and I would mow those campgrounds and stuff. And I remember people getting in trouble for jumping, but they said the real reason that they stopped it was everybody was so far away from their cars that all of the cars in the parking lot were getting robbed. Somebody'd show up on a motorcycle or a scooter and bust out all of the windows, grab what they could from the driver and passenger seat and leave. And then there were absolutely no witnesses because everybody was a quarter mile away through trees, down a giant hill and jumping off of cliffs. They were just leaving their cars out there to get smashed into. So they said that that's why it's illegal, not that somebody jumped off and died.
Yeah, I'm guessing that
I don't know
has
which
a
one
little
to
bit,
believe.
little bit more to it, and the
I'm sure it
fact
does.
that they used to climb the tree
Yeah. And
to
jump
get
out
an
of the
extra
tree.
an extra 20 feet, and they'd barely clear that rock wall.
Right.
Let me
Yeah, those
rephrase
guys are
that. I
insane.
barely clear the rock wall.
Fuck that.
I jumped off in my steel-toed work boots, still fully dressed from work one day, because somebody was standing there trying to. To this day, I don't get this. He was standing at the edge of the cliff yelling Metallica, trying to pump himself up to jump. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, you got to be pumped up, man. I'm like, you have to what? I walked to the edge and jumped off. I'm like, are you coming?
Right.
I
Do
mean,
the opposite of thinking when it comes to something like that.
Yeah.
Don't think, just go.
no. If you start thinking, you've already talked yourself halfway out of it.
Oh yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
I think that's how Nike started, was jumping off cliffs at Red Rock in Pella. Just doing it.
Wouldn't
I don't
doubt it.
know. Yeah, that's
Just do it.
probably what happened.
Funny.
So I know one of our friends, well, he's more your friend, and I think I'm an acquaintance at this point, but has one of those nice boat thingies down there on Lake of the Ozarks.
Oh yeah.
What do you think of Lake of the Ozarks, and how many go rounds do you got down there?
Ozarks is a pretty good time. I've been down there. Let me see. We did senior class trip there. My parents took me when I was a kid. My dad and I went a couple years ago for a Father's Day weekend. I feel like there's probably one more visit in there, so maybe 4 or 5 times I've been down there. It's nice to hit some of the same spots that you remember as a kid. What I like about it is it's an old town as well. And so if you remember going to a restaurant as a kid, that restaurant's still there. It might have a different name and a bit
It's
of a
the same
facelift,
restaurant, yeah.
but it's still the same restaurant and it serves the same food. So, because there's one diner right there next to the dam on the north side that serves some of the greatest breakfast food. And we make sure that we hit that diner every single time, no matter which day it is. But other than that, like, they have the helicopter tours. You can rent a boat. You can rent a cabin. Like, we rented a cabin that was right there on the lake, had lake access, had dock access. Like, it was a really fun time that last time that me and my dad went. We just kind of got caught there on a really hot week where it was 98 or more every single day that we were there. So even sitting out on the dock in the shade and stuff like that, it eventually becomes too much, and you got to get in the cabin and cool off. But it's a pretty good time. One of the restaurants that we like going to, it's right on a bridge, like it's attached to the side of a bridge, and it's up on a bluff, and it looks down on the lake, and you can watch all of the boats drive by and stuff. And it's got to be a 400 or 500 foot drop from there. Like, it is a long ways up there, and it's all glass windows and shit on that one side. So it's pretty ritzy as well. It's kind of a high class restaurant to where, you know, I like wearing stuff like this. They don't let you in wearing stuff like this, but it's still a pretty good time. Super good food. And, you know, Missouri kind of being an extension of Iowa for the most part, you're not going to run into people that are just straight up assholes. I feel like that's more of a East Coast, West Coast thing than a Midwest thing. So the people around the lake are nice too, whether they own something or if they're there on vacation. Like, everybody's pretty cordial.
Yeah, I haven't run into too many. I mean, everybody's got their assholes around lakes and stuff like that, but it's just because they're out trying to have fun and they've drank too much, and that's when the asshole comes out. Normally, they're nice people, and they do the open haze and
Oh,
all that.
well,
Yep.
do the old
And they
thigh slap when
do
it's time to go.
yep. They do the Midwest goodbye that takes 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you don't really run into too many problems if you take the
No,
alcohol out of it usually.
no,
But
it's a pretty good time.
yeah. But I went down there for, like you said, the senior class trip, and I'd never been on a jet ski before.
Mm.
And I rented one with one of the guys in my class, and we still haven't been on a jet ski. Well, we were on it for maybe 30 seconds, and then the rest of the time, and it got brought up at graduation that we looked like two walruses fighting over the same rock because we couldn't get back on it and sunk a jet ski
Oh my God, that's
100 feet
hilarious.
away from where we rented it.
Yeah.
And we just kept rolling it over, trying to get
Mhm.
onto it. And then one of us would
God,
get on, the other one tried to get on and roll it over again. Finally, they had to come out and tow it in because it wouldn't start because we'd sunk it.
that's funny.
Yeah.
So waterlogged. They don't run too well on H2O.
Well, the new ones should because they got that new hydrogen engine coming out.
They do. Yeah.
That
I mean, the submarines got it. I don't know why the jet skis don't.
well, you got that one car too. What was it? It
Oh, yeah.
looks like a Lamborghini, but it's not.
Hmm.
And it's got 4 water exhaust ports that it just trickles out like an air conditioner.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Apparently, we had somebody that created an engine that runs on nothing but water like 30 years ago, and
Hmm.
he came out of his house choking, saying they got me, and died
Yep.
after eating some kind of juice, drinking
Eating or
some kind of
drinking. Yeah. Somebody poisoned him.
cranberry juice or something like that, and he got
Yeah.
poisoned, and all
Mhm.
of his files magically disappeared. Oh,
Strange how that works.
I don't know how that fits into a vacation show, but we got there.
We got there. Full circle.
Speaking of vacation shows, uh, what's your favorite vacation movie?
Ooh, that's a
Because I
good
mean, you
one.
got like Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
That's a good one. That's
That
towards the
one's
top of the list.
I don't like the first 15, 20 minutes
Hmm.
of it. I like it when he makes it to Hawaii.
Yeah.
I don't like anything before that.
Yeah. I mean, but that helps set up the rest of the story. But I see
Yeah,
what you're
once you
saying.
know it, you fast forward past that part the rest of the time.
Oh yeah, yeah. You don't
Yeah.
need to watch that again going forward. No. For favorite vacation movies, one of them that I just watched not too long ago was Paul. Have you seen Paul with the alien, the Seth Rogen movie where he voices the alien?
I've heard of it, but I don't think I've ever watched it.
So it's the two British guys that do Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah,
The two
yep, I like those
popular
guys.
guys.
Yeah,
I don't remember their names. They come to America to go on a road trip to see like sci-fi landmarks. Like they want to go to Area 51 and some of the local stuff in the area. They go to a Comic-Con and get autograph from their favorite author and stuff like that. And they meet an alien on the way, and his name's Paul. Jason Bateman's in it. He's a government guy. Like that one's pretty good, and it's vacation based because that's the whole
yeah.
premise of what they're doing. But when you told me that this was going to be one of our topics, I started thumbing through just vacation movies, and one that's not of the norm but is still a vacation movie, Old by M. Night Shyamalan. Have you seen that one?
I have
Where
not.
the beach ages people faster than they should age. I don't want to give away the twist to that one, but if you like any of his movies, that's one of the better ones. I consider Signs his best movie, but it's better than like The Village and some of the other ones that he's made. Old is pretty good.
So basically, you go to a beach to age really fast, and you ultimately die sooner than what you should have.
Well, so there's a whole backstory to
Whole
it. Like I
backstory
said,
to it.
I don't want to give away.
The
So
twist ending. Yeah.
it is just some sort of a phenomenon that ages people on this beach. But it's being used specifically for something. And that's what I don't want to give away. So, but yeah, watch that one. It's just called Old. And the the cover of it is just like somebody's foot by the water, but it's like showing their toes, getting old, like aging super fast.
If
But
I
it's
want, if I wanted to go to
I
a beach and die, I'd just go to the beach with Leonardo. I'm just saying,
right there you go.
because I probably would have been killed really fast in that movie since I don't like the stuff that was growing on the island and I'm allergic
Mhm.
to it. Just saying. But yeah, uh,
What about you? What's your go-to
my
vacation movie?
it's this is underrated and probably one people won't consider, but Last Vegas. It
Last Vegas?
Last Vegas. It's got Morgan Freeman, Robert De Niro, Kevin Kline, and Michael Douglas, and they all go to Vegas.
Oh,
But it's for Michael Douglas's bachelor party and his wedding,
hmm.
and it's hilarious. Half the crap that goes on in that movie, you couldn't have put together a better cast. I mean, De Niro's part was a little bit like he is in real life, kind of an old codger that doesn't want to go out or do anything, and he gets tricked onto an airplane and ends up punching somebody in the face while he's out there, and it's a
Right.
blast. I love
I'm
that
gonna have
kind
to
of
watch
vibe
that
of a
one.
movie. And
Yeah.
then I remember when I was a kid, it was called like Beach Vacation or something like that, to where literally it was just a bunch of 18 to 20-year-old kids working at a beach resort that spent 90% of their time naked. I remember liking that when I was like a teenager. But
How could you not?
yeah, but I haven't seen too many good vacation type movies that aren't like family oriented. Like
Yeah.
you got RV that
Yeah.
had Robin Williams, and
Hmm.
then I don't know if you'd call it a vacation movie, but there's an RV in it. The one where they go down to Mexico to pick up the drugs in the RV with Jennifer Aniston and
Oh, Meet the Millers.
yeah, Meet the Millers. Would that
Yeah.
count as a vacation
Or We Are the
movie?
Millers.
Yeah, We Are the Millers.
I
There we
I
go.
think so. Like
Because
I
they
came
stopped at
across
all
that
the
one.
RV parks
Yeah.
and
Yep.
then you got like the Vegas vacations and
Mm,
National Lampoon vacations, but
right.
I didn't really get
Yep.
into those much.
Well, and everybody knows those ones. I'd rather try to stay a little newer. Like I feel like we all grew up with those, and at some point you've seen them in passing. But unless it's something new and exciting, you probably didn't pay attention to it. Like I remember one of the big ones when I was of age to make my own decisions and have my own opinion of movies. Like Euro Trip came out, and
Oh,
that one
love
was
that one.
hilarious. And of course, it has one of the greatest songs ever created by a fictional band. So how could
Oh,
you
it's a
not
real
like?
band. It's not a fictional
Well,
band.
but the one that's on screen is a fictional band. That's
Yeah,
not even
yeah,
the actual band's name, but that's Matt Damon's greatest cameo, in my
yeah.
opinion.
That cameo is like the best one ever.
Yeah.
We actually brought up Euro Trip in one of our earlier episodes when I was talking about being in Turkey
Mm,
because I never saw the Green Fairy either, drinking the actual absinthe
I watched your
overseas.
guys's.
Yeah,
I watched that podcast.
so it was definitely bullshit. But I was not sitting there fist bumping the Green Fairy when I said it.
Yeah,
But I drank bottles and bottles of that stuff over there.
of absinthe.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
it comes over there with like a little metal spoon thing that sits over it like a grate, and then
Mhm.
you dip a sugar cube into the absinthe and set it on there, and then you light the sugar cube on fire, and it
Mm,
drains into the glass below, basically, and then
mhm.
you take the shot. Yeah, I drank lots and lots of those.
I tried one of those when I was in Colorado once, and I thought it had an aftertaste like black licorice, and
Yep.
I didn't really care for it.
Yeah, the U.S. version of it has definitely has a lot of aftertaste to it because they take some of the
Mm,
stuff out of it. The one over there tastes like black licorice the entire time,
mm,
which I'm not a
no
fan
thanks.
of. But I was trying to find the fairy. I was
Yeah,
looking for the green
right.
fairy,
You
and
you had a mission.
yeah, and I couldn't drink enough of it to find the fairy.
No,
But
right.
so here's one of the things that bothers me from Euro Trip, and it's right at the beginning of when they get there. They're still at the
Mhm.
train station, right? Have you ever seen a pop machine that did not have the front thing to stop the can?
Oh, yeah. No.
That I'm like, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, where are we going with this? Because before she
Right.
even bought it, I'm like, that can's gonna roll halfway across the track over there.
This movie's not even realistic.
I'm like, Jesus. But the Muscoozy guy, they did a whole episode on that actor was given free reign.
Yeah. I just saw that on TikTok the other day. They were talking about that.
That was priceless. I don't think you could have cast a better person. And he even ad-libbed pulling the underwear out of the crack of his ass when he left.
Yeah, right there at the end when he walks out.
He dropped the newspaper and then pulled the underwear out. That was all him.
God, that's funny. And the fact that the only thing that he says is Miss Cusi.
Yeah.
Miss Cusi.
Yep. And I still use that. I still use that saying.
Oh, I do too. Yeah. I think we all quote that one. Like, if you grew up watching that movie, you quote that.
I was at work the other day, and we were talking about something, and this kid's just sitting there. He's not really a kid. He's my age. And he's sitting there talking. He's like, yeah, we got this going on right here. And you made out with your sister, dude.
Here's an interesting fact.
The two younger guys just look at him like he's crazy. And I'm laughing so hard I have to walk away because it was in the middle of something serious and he still pulled it on him. I'm like, that's awesome. I think that's
she
probably
just passed away recently too. Which
that's
terribly sad. I liked her as an actress.
Yeah,
I mean, she's obviously smoking
great.
hot, but I liked her because she was in a bunch of like CW shows and stuff like that later in life, and she did a good job in those too. So
she was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer too, wasn't she? I believe so.
Like Buffy, and I think she had a spot on like Gilmore Girls or something to that effect for a season or two. But yeah, I mean, that just goes to show you right there, you got to take care of your health because she was younger than we are and didn't make it. And she had a lot more money than us.
Yeah, and she was in a lot better shape than most of us. I mean, honestly. So she
Yeah.
was trying to take care of herself.
Right.
But if it's
some of that stuff's unavoidable.
Yeah, can't beat them. What was the other? There's another actor that was in there that went on to something else too, but I can't remember what he went on to. And it wasn't, acting like a robot or beating them up with baseball bats, but
no. I'm trying to think.
I can't remember what he went on to.
I think the long blonde-haired guy was in a couple. I don't know if they were knockoffs of American Pie sequels or something, but I remember him being in like a cheerleading type movie where like he's a stud football player, but he goes to cheerleading camp to try to get laid.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called. I think that's him, but I don't remember.
And then the badass guy from the soccer team, the guy that beats up the guys on the bus.
He's in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. He's in Gone in 60 Seconds and the guy that never talks and then has
the one
that
that doesn't
big
talk.
Yeah. And then he has that big revelation at the end of the movie.
Right. The speech at the end.
Yeah, he always plays some kind of muscle thug in the movies too. It's kind of funny.
He's just got that look, like he's got that stone face to him, that intimidation factor.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't have that.
This
pull that off.
This is kind of a vacation movie.
Okay.
Along the same way, it's a vacation for some, but the other half works there. Summer Catch. You ever see that movie?
Freddie Prinze Jr., the baseball movie? Yeah.
Yep. See, I always considered that sort of a vacation movie.
It kind of is.
Because the baseball players, most of them are on vacation other than Freddie Prinze Jr. He lives there.
Because he lives there, right.
Everybody else at the Cape, it's their summer house, so they only come back for the summer. Yep. So I always kind of considered that sort of a vacation movie.
Right. And Justin Timberlake's wife? What's her name?
Jessica Biel.
Jessica Biel.
Yeah, she's the best Jessica ever in the movies. Like ever, she's better than Alba.
Better than Jessica Rabbit?
Yes, because she's real.
Fair enough.
She's bad because she wasn't drawn that way.
Yeah. Good point.
Definitely better than Jessica Parker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I only liked her in Hocus Pocus.
What was the? Oh, it had her and Meg Ryan in it,
It would have
and
been a long time ago if it had
and
Meg Ryan
Ferris
in it.
and the guy that played Ferris Bueller,
Uh, I don't know if I'm gonna be
where
able to pull that one out of the brain.
his it was. Oh, I'm gonna have to look that one up, but his wife left him and started cheating on him with the left for the guy she was cheating on him with, the French restaurant owner. And Meg Ryan was the one that was in love with the French restaurant owner. And they team up to try to destroy that relationship to get the other ones back. And then they end up falling in love.
I don't think
Don't
I've seen
remember
it.
that one, huh?
I'm not sure.
I'm going to have to hit the old goggle button real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, thinking through other vacation movies, Heartbreak Kid was one that popped up where he goes on
Oh,
vacation.
yeah.
Like
I just
he
watched that. It was
rushed.
just on. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
It
Yeah,
was it
that's a
was
good
on
one.
today.
Spending the whole time analyzing, risk return, what's going to be worth it, taking his dad's advice or not taking his dad's advice. And I love the fact that it's got his real dad as his dad in it. Like that's one of my favorite ones because I learned way too late in life that George Costanza's dad is actually Ben Stiller's dad in real life.
Yep.
Like, holy shit. Like these actors, like, and that's something that you never think of, like John Voight, the fucking coach everybody hates from Varsity Blues, being Angelina Jolie's dad. Like, that blows my mind.
And then
Like,
they're both in the same movie together.
yeah, just sometimes you don't pick up on that stuff. And if nobody tells you, you don't have a reason to Google it.
That can't be it. Oh, there it is. Yep, there it is. We found it.
What is it?
Look at that. 1997 movie with Meg Ryan, Matthew Broderick, Kelly Preston. Sorry, that I had the.
Oh,
And then I can't even say his name. Tcheky Cario. He's been in a bunch of stuff, but
pass.
it's called Addicted to Love.
Never heard of it.
That you definitely need to see that one. It's a funny movie. It's hilarious.
I'll check her
Matthew
out.
Broderick just goes crazy in that one.
Yeah.
But I can't believe I remember that movie, to be honest. I think it's because of the motorcycle. Because Meg Ryan starts off, before you know it's her, she's on a black crotch rocket and a blacked out helmet, so you have no idea who's on the bike.
Mm-hmm.
And back then I was showing them motorcycles, so that's all I cared about was I want that bike. Which I think we probably should get some, and then we can just go turn the crotch rocket crew back on.
We could.
I don't know. Do you still remember how to ride one of those?
Oh, yeah. No, I have a motorcycle. It's just not a crotch rocket. So, and I
You
got
ended
it
up
out.
getting one?
Oh, I've had it for a few years now. So my dad and I built it. So he bought two 2000 Honda Valkyries that had been crashed. They had been laid down, but they were laid down on opposite sides. So he took all the parts off of one, put it on the other, and had a completed motorcycle. And then the other one just either bought or fabricated all the parts for it. So
Yeah.
it was a cheap way for him to restore two bikes. And then we gave him custom paint jobs and stuff like that. And my dad sat on that Valkyrie for years until, he got to the point where he's like, I don't ride this thing anymore. He's like, do you want it? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I want it. Of course I want it. It's a 1500 cc 6-cylinder. Like, it's a freaking car with two wheels, basically. And so, yeah, when we had a nice day a couple weeks ago, I cleaned out the garage and I got the Trans Am and the Valkyrie both de-winterized and got them running around and batteries charged and all that. So fresh gas put in them. So, yeah, I went a couple laps on the old bike while I had it out, drove out to Cumming and back because Cody was bartending out there that day while I was at home cleaning the garage. So I swung out there and said hi to her and then drove back. Made a day of it, but yeah, I can still ride.
Yeah, I didn't even know you had that one.
Yep.
Yeah, look at that. You snuck
Just,
something
I mean,
in on me.
it
Was it up
sits in the
there on
garage.
Dursky Landing? Did you have it up
It,
there lifted up with your winch system?
oof, yeah, I'm not gonna risk that. I'll take the snowblower and put it up there, but I'm not trying to lift that bike. Yank those lags right out of the ceiling. That'd scare the shit out of me.
You'd have to secure it to your roof
Yeah,
with big metal
basically.
plates. Yeah.
Well,
So you're gonna have to break out your 1985 vodka back there and give the old Flounder a good old commercial skit to see if you can beat his that he's been doing. Did you see that new combination that he put together this weekend
the Saints and Sinners one.
with the berry Dr. Pepper?
Yeah, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was
I
excited about
screenshotted
that
that
one.
one. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's funny how you introduce somebody to just one thing that you're involved in, and now he's like straight up obsessed.
Yeah,
Like he
yeah.
wants all the Iowa distilling products, and it's a great. Like I love hearing it. I love having people that enjoy it like that. It's just how do we get more people to understand, like either that it's local or it tastes good or what, like what's the pitch that we need to be doing here to make sure that this stuff works. Regardless, once we introduce people to it, they typically love it. We
Well,
just got
he's
to get the
gonna
word out there more.
he's gonna ride it until the end until he gets that cease and desist. I guarantee it.
There won't be like that's free advertising for us. Like, what do we have to cease and desist him about? Keep buying it, keep drinking it.
Yeah, no, he's like, I'm gonna get in trouble if I keep doing this, but we're gonna promote
No,
it
he's not.
every episode. I'm
No,
like, then
he
we'll
ain't gonna get in
promote the
trouble.
letter that we get. We're not talking
Yeah,
about your
right.
vodka anymore. We got this great letter from Iowa Distillery saying we're not allowed to talk about their excellent vodka anymore.
I might just write him up a letter at some point and mail it to him too, just to see his reaction. So yeah, if my phone dies on us, I guess that's the end of the episode. But
yeah, that
either
might
way, I
happen.
think we had a pretty good chat about all of that stuff.
All right. We have officially lost the Joey for the evening. So that'll wrap it up here on the Frosty Dinghy. Have a good day. Later.
It's called Frosty Dinghy, and I'm the dolphin, and you're the flounder.
Well, I guess. I think it should be Dr. Parker, but
It's called Frosty Dinghy, and I'm the dolphin, and you're the flounder.